Listen and choose. Choose the best response.
I forgot to charge my phone last night.
Could you save my seat while I get coffee?
Would you mind switching study groups with me?
Did you pick up your ID card yet?
Why was the dining hall closed early?
I won't be able to return your notes until tomorrow.
Didn't the shuttle bus come every 15 minutes?
Did you submit your housing application?
I have some feedback on your presentation.
Are you presenting at the poster session this week?
We're low on hand sanitizer in the lab.
Listen to a conversation.
Can we talk about the cleaning schedule for the apartment?
Sure. Is something not working for you?
It's just that I've been doing the kitchen every week, and it feels a little uneven.
You're right. I hadn't really noticed that. Let's rotate tasks instead of assigning the same ones each week.
That sounds fair. I'll make a new chart tonight.
Two.
I just realized I registered for the wrong exam time slot.
Can you still switch it, or is registration closed?
I emailed the registrar and they said switches are allowed until Friday.
That's good news. Are you doing that today?
Yeah, I want to take care of it before I forget again.
Three. Do you want to split the cost of the textbook for this class?
That could work, but how would we share it during the semester?
We could alternate weeks, or I could scan the chapters we each need.
Scanning sounds easier, honestly, since our schedules don't line up much.
Good point. I'll start scanning the first few chapters tonight.
Listen to an announcement at a university event.
Welcome, new students. This week's orientation schedule includes campus tours each morning at 9, followed by academic advising sessions in the afternoon. Students are encouraged to bring their course registration questions to the advising sessions, since staff will be available to make schedule changes on the spot.
Listen to an announcement at a university club meeting.
Hi, everyone. Before we get started, I want to remind you that the Investment Club's stock pitch competition is coming up next month. Teams of 3 are encouraged to sign up on the club website, and each team will need to submit a written analysis along with their presentation.
Listen to an announcement at a university event.
This is a reminder that on-campus housing applications for next year are due by the end of this month. Returning students who apply after the deadline will be placed on a wait list and assigned housing only if space remains. Students are encouraged to submit their roommate preferences as early as possible.
Listen to an announcement on the university radio station.
This is a reminder that the library is changing its printing policy starting next week. Each student will receive a monthly printing quota included in their tuition, and any pages printed beyond that quota will be billed to their student account. Students can check their remaining balance through the library's website.
Listen to a talk on a podcast about biology. Most plants use a process called C3 photosynthesis to convert sunlight into energy. But in hot, dry climates, this standard method runs into a problem. To conserve water, plants close tiny pores on their leaves called stomata during the hottest parts of the day. But this also blocks the carbon dioxide the plant needs for photosynthesis, forcing a difficult trade-off between conserving water and continuing to produce energy. Some plants, including corn and sugarcane, evolved a modified version called C4 photosynthesis to get around this problem. Instead of processing carbon dioxide directly in the same cells exposed to open air, C4 plants first capture it using a specialized enzyme and shuttle it into protected inner cells before completing photosynthesis there. This effectively concentrates carbon dioxide in a protected location, allowing the plant to keep its stomata closed longer without starving its photosynthesis process. The trade-off is that building and running this extra transport system costs the plant additional energy. In cooler or wetter climates, where water conservation matters less and standard C3 photosynthesis works efficiently on its own, C4 plants tend to lose this energy competition and are less common. In hot, sunny, water-limited environments, however, the water savings typically outweigh the extra energy cost, giving C4 plants a clear advantage. Because of this trade-off, C4 photosynthesis appears to have evolved independently dozens of times throughout plant history, arising separately in many unrelated plant lineages that each faced similar hot, arid conditions. Next, we'll look at a third strategy called CAM photosynthesis, used by cacti and other succulents to conserve water in even more extreme desert environments. Listen and choose. Choose the best response.
Can you help me move these chairs for orientation?
Do you think the workshop needs a bigger room?
What time does registration open tomorrow?
Listen to a conversation.
Do you think Professor Alvarez would write me a recommendation letter?
Probably. You did really well in her course. Have you asked her yet?
Not yet. I wanted to prepare my resume first, so I could send it along.
That's smart. It gives her more to work with when she writes it.
Exactly. I'm hoping to ask her by the end of the week.
Two.
Are we still meeting to study for the final on Thursday?
Yeah, but maybe we should invite a couple more people from class.
That could help, especially if they understood the parts we're stuck on.
Ask around and see who's free. Same time and place as usual?
Works for me. I'll reserve the study room just in case it gets crowded.
Listen to an announcement at a university event.
That is a reminder that sign-ups for the peer mentoring program close this Friday. First-year students are matched with an upperclassman mentor in a related major, and matches will be announced within 2 weeks of the sign-up deadline. Students who sign up are asked to complete a short interest survey to help with the matching process.
Listen to a talk on a podcast about psychology.
In the early 20th century, Russian physiologist Ivan Pavlov noticed something unexpected while studying dogs' digestive systems. The dogs began salivating before food ever reached their mouths, simply at the sound of the assistant's footsteps who normally fed them. This accidental observation led to one of the most influential discoveries in psychology, now known as classical conditioning. Pavlov's key experiment paired a neutral stimulus, a bell, with something that naturally triggered salivation, food. He would ring the bell just before presenting food, and after repeating this pairing enough times, the dogs began salivating at the sound of the bell alone, even with no food present. The previously meaningless bell sound had become linked, in the dog's nervous system, with the arrival of food. Pavlov identified specific terms for each part of this process. Food, which naturally triggers salivation without any learning required, is called the unconditioned stimulus, and the salivation it produces is the unconditioned response. The bell, once it starts triggering salivation on its own through repeated pairing, becomes the conditioned stimulus, and the salivation it now produces is called the conditioned response. Classical conditioning doesn't last forever without reinforcement, though. If the bell is repeatedly rung without ever being followed by food again, the dog's salivation response to the bell gradually fades, a process Pavlov called extinction. Next, we'll look at how classical conditioning principles have been applied well beyond animal behavior, including in the treatment of certain human phobias.
Listen to a talk on a podcast about environmental science. Beneath the ocean's surface, a global system of currents moves enormous volumes of water around the planet. And this circulation plays a much bigger role in Earth's climate than most people realize. Scientists often call this system the ocean conveyor belt, and it's driven largely by differences in water temperature and salt content. In the North Atlantic, surface water traveling north gradually cools and becomes saltier as sea ice forms nearby, since ice formation leaves extra salt behind in the surrounding water. This colder, saltier water becomes denser than the water around it and sinks deep into the ocean, pulling more warm surface water in behind it to replace what sank. This sinking process is a major engine driving the entire global circulation system. As this deep, cold water spreads slowly along the ocean floor toward the equator and eventually into other ocean basins, it gradually warms and rises back toward the surface elsewhere, completing a slow, global loop that can take anywhere from several hundred to over 1,000 years to finish a single cycle. Along the way, this circulation redistributes heat around the planet, which is part of why regions like Western Europe stay milder in winter than other places at similar latitudes. Because this entire system depends on that sinking process in the North Atlantic, scientists are closely studying how melting ice and increased fresh water from glaciers might dilute the salt content there, potentially weakening the density difference that drives the sinking in the first place. Next, we'll look at what climate models suggest could happen to regional weather patterns if this circulation were to slow down significantly.